Hello, friend, and welcome. If you're new here, I want to welcome you to the collective, and if you're returning, I'm really excited to see you, and I can't wait to get into this reading. Because today we are going to be talking about what it is that your shadow wants to tell you. And before you click off, listen to what I have to say about your shadow, because I want you to start out by knowing that your shadow loves you. Your shadow doesn't hate you. Your shadow is just the part of you that holds all your trauma, all your pain, but also remembers who you are at your core. Your shadow is the part of you that still remembers that childhood dream that you wanted to do when you were 5. Still remembers that love of art, of play, of music, of, games or whatever. It still remembers all of that. Your shadow remembers everything for you, and it holds everything for you, so that way when you're ready and available, it has it there for you. So understanding that, let's see what it is that your shadow wants to talk to you about today, what it wants to remind you. And if you're thinking that it's going to just tell you something painful or tell you something bad, understand that that's not the purpose of a shadow. Yes, the shadow holds on to our pain and holds on to those memories so we can process them when we're ready to process them. And if that's part of what is holding you from working with it, then maybe you just need to understand that you have things that you need to work through. So let's see if maybe this is something that you can work through. Forgiveness. I'm not surprised, to be honest. Release resentment to regain balance. Now, the first person I'm going to tell you to forgive is yourself. Yeah, not somebody else, not whoever hurt you, not whoever caused you pain, but yourself. Because a lot of times we don't even realize that we're resenting ourselves, or we're resenting our past, or we're resenting the decisions that we were forced to make by the circumstances that, put us there. Here's the thing. Even if at the time you knew that the thing that you're doing wasn't what was great for you, at that time you did what was best for you, though. And I mean that in saying that, sometimes when we're stuck between a rock and a hard place, you don't really have much of a choice. And we look back at hindsight in 2020 and we're like, oh my God, look what I did, and see how that has led me to where I am now. No, you gotta forgive. You gotta forgive yourself. You gotta let go of that resentment, of that guilt, of that shame, and you just need to allow yourself to find peace through releasing all that emotion just by the power of forgiveness. And again, I'm just talking of forgiveness of self. Defense mechanisms. Soothe uncomfortable situations or thoughts. So this card is a lot like the Ace of Swords every time I see it, because the sword can cut to hurt, or the sword can help to protect. It can also cut paths or clear paths. Defense mechanisms, if they are still something that serves you in the sense of you're in a situation where you have to utilize it, 100% keep utilizing it. But for most of us, defense mechanisms that we utilize are outdated, outmoded, and not even a part of anything we have to do. Defense mechanisms are something that were created to help us get through some type of situation where we had no control, where, we had to just survive, to just strive to get to the next day. If you're not in that type of place anymore, then why are we still utilizing them? Why are we still using them against the people that are around us, who are trying to help us, who are there to help us, who love us? Why are you still letting that be your norm when you're no longer in that space? So ask yourself, are you acting out because you haven't trusted that, you're safe and that things are different? Or are you still using mechanisms that you need to because you have to, because of the situations that are around you? And if that's the case, what is it that we can do to get out of that, so that way we can stop using these mechanisms? Fulfillment. Striking gold in every experience. This is a beautiful card, and I have to say this is like a card that every time I get it, it has a completely different message depending on what other cards are around it. And with this reading thus far, it is telling me that whatever decisions you make to better yourself, you are going to strike gold every time. Whatever it is that you need to do in order to forgive, in order to love, in order to release, you are going to do it, and it's going to be an amazing experience. It's a matter of you actually doing it, though. Realize how this card says striking gold. in every experience. So that shows right there that you have to do something. You literally have to at least, swing a hammer onto a piece of gold. Like, you have to do something. So the striking gold in every experience is telling me that when you do the work, when you actually allow yourselves to choose yourself through love and harmony and forgive yourself, you're gonna find fulfillment in whatever situation that you're doing. The wounded adult. All right, so Shadow is calling out the wounded adult. Something happened in your, younger version of yourself life, anywhere between your 20s and to where you are now, that has caused you to use these defense mechanisms that are, I'm assuming at this point now, outdated. That has caused you to want to hold on to anger, resentment, guilt, shame, and anything else that is keeping you from finding harmony and balance. And yes, forgiving other people is important, because if you aren't forgiving other people, you're also, allowing them to still have control over you. But in this reading, I want you to focus on forgiving yourself first. And then if you can forgive yourself, start forgiving other moments in your life, or maybe other people. Because the wounded adult has the ability to realize the shortcomings of everyone in a situation. Sorry. The wounded adult has the ability to say, you know what? Yeah, what happened to me sucked. What happened to me was not great. What happened to me shouldn't have happened to me, because, it could have been prevented, but it happened. So here I am. I'm going to allow myself to feel it, because healing is feeling. I'm going to allow myself to work through that pain, to work through that anger, to work through that aggravation, to work through that guilt, to work through that grief, to work through whatever it is that you need to work through. Because the wounded adult is something that you have the ability to look at things and express them and release them. But holding on to whatever happened to you is only going to lead you towards more heartache. It's only going to lead you to more complications, and it's only going to lead you to feel more isolated in your own life. So now I want to ask the tarot cards exactly what it is that has you thinking that life is not worth living the way you want it to. And I don't mean as in like the sense of the way you want it to based on what everyone else is telling you to do. I mean the way that is authentic to you, authentic to your heart. Because the whole reason that we are asking this reading is because we want to know what it is our shadow was telling us. And our shadow is being very direct about the cards that it wants. Our shadow is telling you right up from the back that there are things that we need to release. There are things that we need to let go of. And so why is it that we find ourselves unable to think that that's even possible? All right, so we have Justice in the reverse position. This card is, first and foremost, I know that you're going to tell me that it's about law and karma. Okay, first off, if it's, you're going to assume that I have anything to say about a court case or anything without a hearing, that's not this type of reading. I'm sorry. When I see Justice in reverse, it does, again, prove that something unjust had happened to you, that there was something unfair, that there is something that you did not deserve. And I'm not taking that away from you whatsoever. This card is 100% agreeing with that, thing. The problem about Justice in its reverse position is you have to remember that the universe always does balance things out, but it's not your job to see that balance through. It's not your job to see the other person be punished or receive what they deserve. It's not your job. And as long as you hold on to the fact that you need to see it through, you're not going to find peace. You're not going to be able to reach harmony. Then we have the Three of Cups in the upright position. So this straight up is telling me that you just need to have some fun. That you need to go out and remember how to laugh. Remember how to smile. Remember how to, maybe even be a kid again. Whoever your group of friends is. The classic thing is that it's three women, having fun. But, I don't care who you are. Male, female, non-gender, you be you. You have fun. You do whatever it is that you need to do to laugh, to smile, to feel connection with others. And it doesn't have to be, you going out and partying or drinking. It could be you and two other friends going to a bookstore and just reading books together. It can be you playing cards with friends. It could be you, just having someone to help you clean your house. Like, there's a bunch of things that you can do, but what matters about this card is the connection. The need to connect and the need to find just joy and happiness again. And we got the Empress in her reverse position. Empress in her reverse position is always the winter season, or you're in your end of your fall season going into that winter season. Because the Empress, she never stops growing. She never stops being fertile. She never stops creating. But during the winter, you feel the stillness. And in the stillness, you think that nothing is happening. But the truth is, you are just digging those deeper roots. In the winter, the trees look like they're dead. The trees look like they're dormant, like they're doing nothing. But I assure you, they are doing something. Trees continue to grow all throughout winter. You just don't notice it because it's not very obvious. Not only do they grow taller, not only do their branches grow wider, but they also dig deeper roots, so that way when spring comes, they can flourish and be so much more beautiful, so that way they can have and give and provide more than what they could the year before. The Empress in her reverse position is telling me that you're in that same space, where right now, you just need to do the work. You need to dig those roots. You need to get to whatever it is that is holding you back and release it, to let it go. You need to forgive and maybe realize that these defense mechanisms are hurting you more than they're helping you. And then we have the King of Cups in his reverse position. I don't care if you're male or female, this is still you, because this is the divine masculine of your emotions. And King of Cups is about actively releasing your emotions. So, taking a walk to clear your head, going on a run to, deal with stress. It's you painting to release pent-up emotion, you drawing, coloring, stress cleaning, stress baking. I'm a stress baker myself. Or even just doing random expression, which if you're me, that looks like you taking a bunch of colored pencils to empty paper and just freaking drawing like you're 4. You need to release your emotions in an active way. With this card in reverse, though, you're not even trying. Why do I say that? Because when the King of Cups is in its reverse position, it is all about you just not giving a shit, not even wanting to try, just wanting to isolate yourself and wanting to say, you know what, nope, this is my life now and nothing's going to change and I'm going to live in this anger, I'm going to live in this resentment, and I'm just going to bring everyone down with me. But again, that's really isolating and that's really lonely. So, do you want to continue to live an unhappy life? Or do you want to give yourself the chance to actively express what's going on inside of you? Allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you are avoiding and give yourself the chance to just get through this next phase. Now I want to ask Shadow what it is that we can do to start the process to help us get out of this, wanting to just let the anger and the resentment take over us. What is it that we can do to help us find that inner harmony that can lead us to just feeling again? Feeling whatever it is that you need to feel and trust in the safety that you currently live in. All right. Jeweled web connectivity. So this goes really well with this 3 of Cups card about me asking you to connect with others. But on top of that, these two cards actually go hand in hand, because this card was asking me to tell you to celebrate and find laughter. But the jeweled web with connectivity here is also wanting you to open up and talk. Be vulnerable, tell your story, let people know the truth of what happened on your end and how you truly feel about it. And when I see the jeweled web, it's a reminder that think of a web. Sorry, I stopped mid-pause there. But think of a web, and if you destroy one section of that web, there's a huge chunk that falls apart. But also, if a like spider or fly gets caught in it, the spider is able to still maintain the structure of the web. So with this jewel web here, it's that reminder that while you are being disconnected, there's a whole section of the web that's just kind of flying in the air, that's not serving a purpose, that has no structural integrity to it. That's kind of what you feel like right now. So give yourself the permission to, open up and find connection, to find, other people who have gone through similar situations, or those who are close to you who don't actually know the truth, and let them learn the truth. Okay, so gathering around, the power of community. If the cards are being very, very forward about this whole community and talking to people and receiving support, and I don't really have much more I can say about this card, other than the fact that every time I see it, I love the fact that it's mushrooms, and the mushrooms are important because they feed not only themselves, but the other plants, trees, and vegetation that are around it through its mycelium network. But also, there's little fairies in this card too that are in here. So remember too that community is not just the physical people around you, that it's a spiritual community too. If you believe in guardian angels, if you believe in spirit guides, if you believe in the Holy Spirit, whatever it is that is your divine connection, talk to it, pray to it, let it know what's going on in your life too. Ask it for strength. The joyful muse, inspiration. So this is 100% again what I was talking about when I said with the King of Cups reversed, how you need to allow yourself to actively express. You need to allow yourself to have the ability to just be silly, to just create, to just let it go. The easiest way to release pent-up emotions, repressed emotions, is through some type of, again, joyful expression. And it doesn't have to necessarily be joyful. It can be anything, but it's about you doing it. Dance is another way to clear out emotion. It's the active clearing that does more than, just talking about it. So allow yourself to, if you write poems, write poems. If you journal, journal. If you paint, paint. If you mold clay, mold clay. Like, there is just so many things. Even gardening. Gardening in its own way can be an act of expression, because I know a lot of people who love to garden and they find peace and serenity. I am not one of those people. My garden is stressful for me. But if you like to garden, take the opportunity that we still have outside to be nice out and do that. I literally just said dancing. How dancing is an act of, emotional expression. So dance is on one foot, balancing act. So while this card really has little to do with the dancing expression part that I was talking about, the balancing act is important here too, because it's one of those reminders that you aren't going to go far with just one foot on the ground. Yeah, you can continue to go in circles, you can hop on one foot, but it's a lot of pressure on just one foot, so why don't you just put the other foot down? What do I mean by that? Why don't you just be honest? Why don't you just love? Why don't you just give yourself what you need in order to work through all of this, so that way you can feel and you can heal and you can find that you have 2 feet on the ground. And then we have me talks, repairing the body, mind, and spirit. This one is a reminder that you need to take care of you. And that while we're going through all of this, that you need to put aside time for you to just take care of you. Maybe it's a nice bubble bath. Maybe it's a hike in the woods. Maybe it's you doing your, creative expression. Maybe it's you journaling. You need to give yourself the ability to take care of you first. This also has to do with the mundane too. Like, maybe you need to do laundry, maybe you need to clean your house, maybe you really just do need to take a shower. Me talks can be a lot of things, but it's about you taking care of yourself. Now I just want to ask Shadow for some affirmations to help you start this journey, because I feel like if this is where you're at right now, you haven't even really begun to do the work to help release things, because I feel like this is a very beginning part of your journey. Not that what happened recently. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that there's a healing journey that you're being asked to start, and like Shadow's calling you out in this reading. That's what I'm getting at. Oh, we're just moving cards around. All right. So, first affirmation. I choose to make today a great day. This is again about you reclaiming your power. This is about you saying that I have the ability to decide how I'm going to live and how I feel about today. I'm allowed to take time to heal. And that is 100%. That's what this detox card is about. It's about you having the ability to give yourself time to, use that joyful muse and use creative expression. It's about you allowing yourself to, connect with other people, talk with them, and have them share in with your spiritual and healing journey. Yeah, you are allowed to take time to heal. So let yourself do it. I make smart, calculated plans for my future. Okay. So, I'm not gonna lie, this is like one of the first times I've gotten, it's a deck of like 56 affirmations, so there's a lot here. But this is that reminder that, you are a smart individual, and yes, you do make good plans for your future. This reading in no way is calling you a failure or anything like that. This reading is just saying that there is something that you need to help work on in order for you to find peace and harmony again. So understand, when we get the card, I make smart calculated plans for my future, yeah, you're doing a lot of things right. Don't let yourself feel otherwise. There's just something else you need to work on. I am confident. My last card, and it's only for my online readings that it's always this beautifully wrapped up. I wish my in-person readings had this ability. But the last card here, I am confident, shows that you're a person that has overcome something. Whatever this is, specifically this wounded adult, but whatever it is, whatever that wound is, you've overcome and you have made yourself into something great. You have, pushed yourself and allowed yourself to live despite it. But here's the thing, it's still affecting you in some way. So you still need to actually work through the wound, work through the grief, work through the frustration, work through the injustice, the anger, the, just outright whatever it is. You still need to work through it. Because if you don't, you're going to find that what you're looking for and how you find happiness isn't going to feel right, and it's going to feel uncomfortable. And if you're uncertain on even what it is to start, or what it is that can be, what the issue of all this is down to, because maybe you think you've worked through it, maybe you've thought you've taken care of this wound, go ahead and ask in the comments below. We have a whole collective here, we're a community, we support each other. I will support you. But sometimes in telling your story to others, you will realize that there is a part of it that you forgot, or realize that there's a part of it that wasn't as healed as you thought it was. And if you want more specific information, or an even more specific reading from your shadow, I do shadow readings, and I just do general tarot readings to help you get more specific information about your current situation. There is a link in the description below. I do still have some available dates, so hit me up if you're interested in that. And, this reading is kind of one of those where it's putting the ball in your court and it's laying a lot on you, but I just want to remind you that you're not doing this alone. Everyone in this collective is on a healing journey. We're all here to discover ourselves, to, work through our emotions, and, we're all here to help and support you. And if you are seeing this video for the first time, or being part of my collective for the first time, you are now part of the collective. And I just want you to know that I'm supporting you and I'm cheering you on, and I love you. And I know while this is not going to be a comfortable thing, I know that you can do it and you're going to be amazing at it. That is all I have for you today. I wish you the best day, and I can't wait to see you again. Bye-bye.